Well, hello, everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Monona Community Media Committee for September 11th. Will, do you have everything you need? You've got the roll.
Yep, currently Dave Brunner is not here and Alex Fortney.
Oh, great. And do I have a motion to accept the minutes from our July 10th meeting?
So move.
By
Second.
Bill and seconded. Are there any additions, changes, corrections, anything that we've missed? All right. Hearing none, all in favor of approving those minutes as you see them in your packet, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right. Ongoing business. This is going to be a pretty short meeting tonight. We've just got one final discussion about the budget, and then we're operating budget, and then we're on to some other little things, and then we'll be out the door. So ongoing business approval, the 2026 community media operating budget. Will, can you, first of all, I want to say that for anyone who watches the recordings or for those who were here at the last meeting when we met in August, I want to apologize for any confusion I may have caused. After the meeting, I realized that when I was looking at the columns of information, I messed up. I was comparing 2024 to 25 instead of 25 to 26. You know how Will has, here's what the dollar amount was last year, here's what it is, moving forward or this year. I was off. So hopefully that didn't throw anyone off. And also, there was a question about a few budget items from our August meeting. And that was, I think there was a question about studio maintenance. And I had hoped that Will could take some time in tonight's meeting to just explain a little bit about that. There was a number that was off,
Yep.
something like that. It was related to Monona Go. So go ahead, Will.
Yeah, so I'll pull up a couple of these items here, and then I will share my screen, and hopefully we'll be able to go through it a little bit. Okay. So, content only, side by side over the shoulder as background content. Let's just see if this does it. Okay. Can you see my document here?
It's a little small on my
I
screen.
know. I am trying to
There's a way to zoom
zoom it
in.
in. I'm trying to find the zoom button on this
Do
thing.
you have a mouse with a roller ball or do you have just a
Yeah,
touchpad?
maybe
There
this
you
is
go.
it.
You got it. You figured it
Okay.
out.
There we go. That worked. All right. So we talked about studio maintenance under the television operating budget. And so let me see if I can, oops, they're on tabs up here, which I need to minimize this, and I don't think I can. So let's go here. All right. So then this is the television budget. And we're looking at
Can you read out that number for those that might?
studio maintenance, 4,988 for studio maintenance. And that's for 2026. 2025 was 5,260. If I look at 2025 for, let's see, I'm getting this. My share screen thing's in the way. There's television. So the television in 2025 for studio maintenance was actually 5,760. So I was off a little bit on my budget in 2025.
So it should have been a little, oh, so
Yeah,
we used more than what was budgeted for. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
right, right.
Okay.
So if we move to, oops, 2026, it's gone down to 4,988
Right.
because the Adobe subscriptions went up, but we took off the cable, we took off the Monona Go app.
So, mhm. So that's why there was a decline by about $1,000, right?
Yeah, right. And there would have been quite a bit of an increase if we would have kept the Monona Go
Right.
this year.
$1,000, right? Yeah.
So what I guess what we can look at, if you'd like, I do have some statistics on Monona Go and YouTube. So here's our total downloads since 2022. 674 for Apple TV and Apple iOS, which is the phone. 18 for Fire TV, 26 for Roku, and 64 for the Android. If you look at the cost breakdown, this Cablecast RTMP we need to keep so that we can continue to stream to YouTube and connect to our server from remote places. The Reflect bundle is needed for the apps so that it can connect up what we're doing and send it out to the apps that we currently have on all these platforms. And then the custom over-the-top app renewal is 250 each, and we have 5 apps, so it's 1250 because we have personal customized apps.
But these stats that you're sharing us related to Monona Go,
Correct. So
sharing them with us because people are, I mean, I thought the decision was, or maybe this body still wants to entertain the idea of keeping Monona Go. I was under the impression that under the previous Alder, the decision was to not keep it.
the purpose I wanted to show is how much we're saving by
Oh,
not renewing.
not keeping it.
$3,910 is what it's costing us to keep the
Okay.
apps. So we're really going to only pay this 1,400 now if
Okay.
and when we were to not renew all the apps.
Okay. So we're saving about 4,000.
Yes.
3,910.
Yep.
Okay.
And
And I understand
reallocating
that.
it throughout the budget, essentially.
Yeah. And I understand that in the grand scheme of things, $4,000 on top of millions of dollars for the city budget is a small number. I also understand, however, that the use data suggested that not many people were using it. I loved it, but I understand it's clunky. And if not many people are using it, maybe it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
So to that effect, if I go to, yeah, see, I knew this wasn't gonna, I have to rotate this. And in fact, I think what shows it better, if you don't mind, let me go to here and what it'll show you. And I think I can do both these pretty quick. That kind of gives a really quickly. Okay, so if I were to go and say date range of, we'll just do, what are we at, the 11th? So we'll do the beginning of August to the 11th of this month. Overall, we had 23 video on demand views, 1 stream view, which is our live channel. So that's hard to, you can't look at that because we only have 1 channel that we look at. 105 views and 13 hours of viewing.
13 hours of viewing on Monona Go.
Right. And if I go to YouTube, I was logged in, so. I'm not logged in. Because I think this tells a pretty good story. Oops. Of the difference in usage.
So just from my own notes, I just wanted to sort of reintroduce this topic of Monona Go. When Nancy was the alder assigned to this committee, the decision was to stop promoting Monona Go, but not cut funding for it. So the app was still available to people. It's just that this committee was not actively promoting it. Brennan right now is still uploading videos, but we're just not promoting it. And at a past meeting, it was also my understanding that Nancy asked if anyone on the committee wanted to work to promote Monona Go, but there didn't seem to be anyone who was interested in that. That could change. But now in front of us, we have this decision to make. Do we keep it or not? It's about, Willem, about 4,000 to keep it.
Yeah, 33,910, I believe, is the exact number.
If we do nothing, if we do not renew our contract, the app is just going to stop working eventually. So there's that. Do we keep it or not? And then there's an additional question. If we decide to let the contract expire, if we decide that the app is just going to stop working, should we let people know? Should we publish something in a city newsletter, Facebook page, something like that? Is that kind of a, did I miss anything, Will? Is that kind of the summary of it all?
No, I think that's it, and it will renew in I think January, end of January, February, I believe. So we have some time to deal with the messaging of whatever if we need to.
Okay.
But as we look at these numbers, so the last 28 days in YouTube, we saw 7,400 views, 832 hours watched, and we added 25 subscribers just in the last 28 days. When we go to the Monona Go, we have 105 views, 13 hours watched, and 23 views for video on demand. So to me, it's like these pretty stark difference of where people are going.
Yeah.
And perhaps if we continued for 3 years, people would catch up and decide they wanted to go to an app. Yes, but then I also feel like, okay, well then in 3 years we can revisit this and see what the cost would be and see what our other options are. So instead of hoping that this gets more traction, this being Monona Go, I opted to utilize this money within the budget as opposed to just continuing the Monona Go app and utilize it for other things that are needed.
What do the folks in the room think about this? I know we worked so hard to promote it, and we had artwork and, kind of feels sad to say goodbye to it, but we don't have to. I'm curious to know what folks in the room think. I don't have a vote on this. This is your vote. So I'll entertain your feedback here.
I think what Will has proposed makes sense. To maybe we just continue it and use the budget for other things. I mean, it is sad, but it just seems like the numbers make sense that way.
I feel the same way. It's sad, but the numbers make sense.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Bill, go ahead.
so I think first of all, Teresa, your reading of the minutes from the meeting where this was discussed is the same way that I'm reading it. The committee made a choice at that point not to spend any more committee time on the promotion question. And I totally get that because I went back through the minutes of all the meetings from 2023. And this committee just, I'm sure, had promotion fatigue because of the amount of time that was spent on proofreading posters and deciding on colors and slogans and all of those things. So a huge amount of committee time went into promoting this. I'm kind of torn because I see that the numbers are low, but I have never understood the comparison between Monona Go and YouTube. It's not an apples to apples comparison. They're not the same product, and this committee knew that when we decided to start Monona Go. It was going to be an additional product. And when it first came up, this was the January 2023 meeting. It said new business will explain the mechanics and aesthetics of the new app. The video app would be created through the already approved purchase of a new updated video playback server. So that was kind of the launch of Monona Go. I don't remember, and it's on me. Will, I'm sorry if I didn't catch it at the time, but I don't remember the committee ever being told that there was a budget cost to this. I got the impression when you rolled this out to the committee that it was part of a package that we were already paying for. So if that went over my head, that's on me. And eventually we did learn that that it is a budget item. But so then we spent all the time on promotion and the
Stop you
committee
there, Bill, could we get an answer to that? So,
after I'm finished, please.
okay, go
I
for
want to just continue down this line of
yeah.
thought. So we spent the time on promotion without ever having a definition of what success would look like here. We never set a standard for how many downloads we expected or how much viewing time we expected. We just kind of went for it, which was great because everybody was all in and it was a new thing and we were going to try to do our best to make the most of it. And then we got some numbers in, and people apparently didn't like the numbers or weren't satisfied. But if you look at those number of downloads, Will, that you just showed up on the screen, I compared that to the number of newsletter subscriptions that we have for the Monona City newsletter, which as of the middle of last year was somewhere around 1,000. Correct me if that's not the exact number. But then adding all those Monona Go downloads from the different platforms, that's upwards of what is the total there? About 800, close to 800.
Yeah, I would say probably right about
So
there.
if you choose those numbers for your comparison, downloads for Monona Go are very comparable to subscriptions to the city newsletter. YouTube is a completely different product, and there's much more content on YouTube that isn't on Monona Go. So you can't hold those numbers next to each other and say that that demonstrates Monona Go is a failure. So I don't know. When I looked at that last meeting and I saw the discussion, I agreed that that the committee has done and staff have done what can be done to promote it, and the numbers are what they are. I'm not as I'm not as discouraged by it as other people seem to be, and I'm more kind of inclined to go the same way that we did with that media room capital expense in the last budget. And I came around to the view that, Will, you suggested the mayor may not approve this, but let's put it in the proposal and then let her make the priority decision as to whether this, is important enough to include or not. And especially because she was involved as the previous committee chair in the whole discussion about the merits of Monona Go.
Mhm. Bill, excellent feedback, as always. Can you just sort of hit the highlights? So you went back through, so one of the questions you asked was, what was the initial cost of having Monona Go? I think it was included in a package and there was no initial cost, Will. Is my memory correct?
No, the cost of it was wrapped into the cost of the purchase. So it was all packaged together as you're going to get this and you're going to pay for the subscription to be able to do the app. And after that, it was going to have that the subscription service was going to have to be put on the operating budget. Whereas the first purchase, when it all came together as a unit, was part of the capital budget. And I know we did discuss that because we went through the 2024 and 2025 budget. So the dollar amounts were in there.
So the price to have Monona Go has not changed. It is just moving to from capital to operating budget.
Because when we bought the equipment, it all came together and we paid for that first year of subscription through the capital purchase.
Mhm. And the downloads, I remember at one time they were about 1,000 downloads. What are they? Bill, you said you had a number on that, or Will, you have a
Yeah, there's
number?
about I can find that document.
Yeah, it's in the
I
packet.
see Katie's got her hand up. Could I just entertain Katie's comment while we look for that number? Go ahead, Katie.
It's actually related. I wondered about unique downloads, if that's something that
Exactly.
Will could find, because I think that's, one person could download 424 videos if they wanted. So a unique download would be more aligned to a subscriber number that Bill's looking for a comparison to. So I'm just curious if that's even available on the app. I'm not sure.
Well, what I
Or
can
or there was also a time when we had that I thought there was 1,000 people that have downloaded the app. Not that they're downloading videos from the app, but they're actually installing it on their phone, and you broke it down to here's how many Apples and Androids.
Yeah, so
That's
right,
that's
can you see what I'm
Yeah.
sharing here? Yeah. So this is the actual download of the
There it is. Yeah, I see it now. Okay.
so
Okay, an
yeah, it's
Apple
about
and
800, like Bill said.
Okay, an Apple and the iOS, so Apple TV and iOS, is there any way to break those down? Because like I have it on my TV and on my phone.
Oh, right.
And
Well,
I don't know how many people do that. Maybe not many. I don't know.
Oh, so then it counts two, is what you're saying, Kate.
I just don't,
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
not
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So we can't count people basically. We could only count actions.
Devices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, and devices.
But that's not
Exactly.
to say too that someone doesn't subscribe to the community media or to the city newsletter on three different emails for
Yeah,
whatever reason, right? Like they could be
right,
doing that
sure.
too.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's very fair. Yeah. So what is that total downloads when you add those four numbers together? I'm terrible. Anyone can just do a round on this.
I mean
60,
it's like
70, 90, 100.
just shy of 800, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So at some point I thought we were at 1,000, but um, hmm. So 800 downloads of the app,
Correct.
as opposed to on YouTube, we're not counting the app, we're counting the videos that are being
Well,
watched.
we can count the subscribers, and
Oh, that's the
that's it,
word.
and that's 3,406,
Subscribers to YouTube.
which would be the equivalent of downloads for the Monona Go app.
Yeah, it's probably worth looking at both the like how many videos if we're looking at the way Bill's talking, both the like monthly usage versus downloads, because like being honest, I downloaded the app when we started this project, but I don't regularly use it. So that's not really a
Same.
great
Right.
comparison. And I feel like you mentioned something about the newsletter only having 1,000 subscribers.
I read that in the minutes from right
I
here.
am guessing Amanda has updated stats on that.
Well, I don't have it with me, but I just feel like there's a difference between how many times people open emails or view videos versus
I have the answer. It's from the September 14th, 2023 minutes. Amanda noted 979 newsletter subscriptions.
okay.
And then it says you would work on getting analytics for the next meeting. And then in the next meeting, it was roughly that. It said September 22, we had 853 subscribers. And now September 23, we have 985. So
Okay.
that's for the newsletter.
Okay, interesting.
And I think now we're at like close to 1,200 or something.
Okay.
So those are subscribers. Those are the unique email addresses. Okay. And we can also count subscribers for YouTube and subscribers for Monona Go. Yes, we're comparing apples to apples across the board here, are we?
And Will, could you repeat the number that you gave for the number of subscribers to our YouTube channel?
So there's 3,406 subscribers to our YouTube channel.
3,406. Okay.
Yes.
And are we able to count Monona Go subscribers, or are we
Well, that's just downloads, right? Because you got to
able to, right,
downloading the app would be what you'd
right.
be looking at.
So Monona Go downloads are that was that 800 number
Yeah,
that you see in front of us here.
correct.
And
Teresa, if you do want to consider this apples to apples, then I think that 800 Monona Go compared to 1,200 newsletters and 3,400 YouTube is not too shabby, considering that Monona Go is just this tiny little thing on your phone, and YouTube has the most popular platform on the internet or something in that dimension.
yeah, could we, and this is something, oh, Katie, go for it. We might be saying the same thing. Go for it.
I just had a question, because Will, I use your YouTube page an awful lot, but I don't think I subscribe. And so the subscription for YouTube is like you'd get notifications, you can save something to your playlist, things like that.
Right.
And then please correct me if I'm wrong. If you don't download Monona Go, you can't get to it.
Correct.
Yeah, so
So,
many
so
YouTubers
I
talk
use
about
YouTube all
how,
the time. Yeah, go ahead.
so many YouTubers say that, the vast majority of their views come from non-subscribers, which is why they always say, please like and subscribe. It helps grow the channel. So you have to factor that in. You can't just go by subscribers, yeah. And the newsletter platform is very different from a video platform. I don't see the number of subscribers, they're not, I don't see it as apples to apples. But
And Will, apologies if you've already answered this question. Is there a way to count which how many videos are being watched?
Yeah, so right here, it's giving,
Like I think Amanda and I'm in the same boat. I downloaded the Monona Go app. I used it constantly when it was first, when we were like rolling it out, and then I just sort of fell out of practice.
right. I mean, which is a good question for all of us. How many of us in this committee itself are utilizing the app itself? So I have up right now the total views for videos. So this Monona Live is the stream that's constantly going. That's just basically our channel that's constantly playing on the app. And then these are all specific videos. So we had 4 views.
I'm not seeing. Are you sharing something on your screen, Will?
Oh, you're not seeing that? Did I? Oh, I know why. Because hold on. I gotta change my deal to the entire screen. Hold on. How's that? Do you see the bar charts a little bit or?
Yes, I see one very,
So this big bar
oh,
chart, this one's the Monona Live, which means it's
yeah.
basically our cable access channel that's just constantly streaming, and you can click on it on the Monona Go app. These are all the videos that are on demand that you can watch. So the La Follette game, football game, got 4 views. The swim relays got 3. The Monona Public Library event got 2. Basketball versus Beaver Dam in 2023 got 2. So these are like the higher the higher viewed ones, and we have videos from 2024 and 2023. And then you go down here and it's 1, 1, 1. These are all ones. If I look at this, yep, you can see same thing down here, which you have 75 views live over the course of the entire 28 days for a total viewing time of 10 hours and 36 minutes. So you can't really tell what they watched. I'm assuming probably city council meetings, or perhaps 4 views on a football game would almost give you 10 hours itself, because 4 people viewing a 2-hour football game would be about 8 hours. Or here we go, 6 hour. Actually, I'm sorry, that's 6 minutes. So they didn't even give you nobody even really watched it. And then this one was 16 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got 1 going
Mm-hmm.
all the way to 2024 or 23. I can, I can go back and say, oops.
I'm looking at the Monona Go app right now, Will, and I see that, like you say, the live stream is always at the top there.
Yeah. So here's year to date. How many views? 17 for a concert, 54 for, it looks like that's running off the, spring candidates forum. Let's see, what are these? These all are 14 views roughly, and 10. And if I go, and I know apples to apples, we're not necessarily going that way, but if I say custom, one, just so you guys have something to look at. Not in the right room. This sound is now it's 9,000 hours watched, 75,000 views, and an added 291 subscribers in the same time period. Seven 761 views just in the last 48 hours. Now again, views are what they are. You might want to go by sorry, the sun is starting to glare in on me. You might want to go by how long they're actually watching.
Mm-hmm.
If I went to here, um, there's an even amount of people watching the live stream almost and videos. I was going to look at like which ones are getting the most views, and that's when football and some of the other ones are getting 100 views in one game, and nobody's obviously watching it on the Monona Go app.
Okay.
So it's just tough. I don't necessarily like getting rid of it either, but when I think about the money utilized in the department, that's where I look at it. The newsletter doesn't get paid out of this department. It gets paid out of the administrative costs because Parks and Rec uses that newsletter. Essentially, any department in the city could use that newsletter platform on the website.
Well, thank you for the information, and I appreciate all the analytics. The reason that I asked at the last meeting that you bring this information is just that I wanted to kind of have the committee make an informed choice about this. I was surprised to that we didn't even know it wasn't in the budget until one of the committee members asked, and then you said it wasn't included as a line in there. So, considering the amount of time that this group spent on it, I just wanted to make sure that we all understood what was going on and why we were kind of making the choice we are. So I don't intend to pursue it any farther. If you want to continue on with the rest of the operating budget, I appreciate your pulling all this information together for us.
Will, would you like, thank you, Bill. Will, would you like us to take a vote on what we do with this decision?
Yeah, I mean we can vote right to keep it in, and I will put those dollars amounts in, and when I meet with the mayor, do very similar to what I talked to her about with the capital budget.
Mhm.
And then she can decide what she wants to propose exactly. Um, right, or we vote it down before then. I'm prepared to do either.
And your recommendation, however, might be just to vote it
Well, my
down?
recommendation would be that I would utilize the money.
Mhm.
There we go. Thank you. For other purposes within the department right now. And if we got to a point where we wanted to do it again, I would absolutely look into that. And I think last time we talked about as a committee, excuse me, seeing if there was other options that might be more diverse for an app that maybe would include some things on the website or be a little more connected to Monona altogether as opposed to just a video storage box app.
Mhm. Okay.
And
So
I mean that's a question I think the city could start to investigate, and it's not cheap. I don't know what the cost is do we want a My Monona app?
Mhm. Mhm.
Anyhow,
So as far as this budget decision, I think I heard your recommendation. Your preference would be to use the money in different ways. Um, so I will take a motion. If anyone has a motion to, you can motion for anything you'd like, but we really probably should bring this to a vote then.
I move to use them on No Go finances in other ways, and then I gotta take off.
There's our motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Was that from Amanda?
Yeah, it was me, Amanda.
Okay, great. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
I
Opposed? Okay. Looks like that's what we're gonna do. Great committee work. Thank you, Anita
Yeah, right.
and Amanda. All right. So that's your answer to that line of the budget, and then go ahead and take it away for the rest of the budget then.
okay. So now I guess I need someone to ask me what it was that there was some questions last time. I have these prices broke down as far as what our costs are, and I'll start with the radio budget, which might be helpful so people can look at it and decide or have questions. So let me share my screen again wherever that is.
Teresa, I have a question.
Sure.
We still have a quorum?
Will, do we still have a quorum? How many members do we have here? 1, 2, 3. I can't see all the members.
Yeah, I think we're good because we have four. We have 4 members.
Susan, Katie, Amanda, Bill.
Because if Katie wasn't here, then we'd have a problem. But since
Okay.
Katie's here, we're good. We're
Okay.
missing 3 committee members,
Okay.
but because school rep is here, then we're okay because she's a voted.
That's great. So I guess for our October meeting, we can wait until October to talk about how we're going to let the public know about Monona Go. We don't need to talk about that tonight. I do want people to be able to get out of here. All right. So will
So
you,
yeah, here we go. I will kind of break down some of these costs. So when you look at the budget, I don't know if you're looking at it on your computer. But under professional development, I just have the WBA membership. I have a $500 legal fee, basically just for the radio station if we need it. There is a service package with our radio automation system, so I can call them at any time and they can help us if something were to happen. There is the music licensing fees. And then there's our streaming costs, which I did add in, like the phone bill, because that is part of our telephone system in the studio. We need a phone line so that we can do telephone interviews.
Mhm.
The internet is for the radio station, team viewers for the radio station. Triton Digital is how we stream the station. Spinitron is how we give playlists to the public so they can go to spinitron.com and see what shows have played for music. Anybody have any questions there? Okay, I'll move on to television.
Will, are you able to have that nice spreadsheet for this operating budget, the way you had for the capital budget, where you have like, this is what we spent last year, this is the cost to continue.
Yeah, so let's see here, where's that? Like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I can expand this. So I'm willing to talk about whatever we left off on. I did find out under equipment, under television, there is a $5,000 stipend that I didn't really know about. I knew that it was there and that that's what Mark had put there. He explained it better by saying it's basically there for equipment breakdowns or you needed to service a piece of equipment that wasn't in your original budget. You have some wiggle room there if something happens that is
Like in a
unforeseen.
fund, okay. But to clarify, I really do love the way you've broken down the spreadsheet into more detail in the later pages. But it's nice to have it here in front of us. Then when we're at the point where we need any vote or questions, or are there any questions from the committee on any of the information Will has presented in those pages that follow that nice summary spreadsheet?
I did not get the most recent underwriting and sponsorship revenue as of right now. I didn't get a hold of Sue Carr earlier enough, so I don't think she was able to put it together. She's the Friends of WVMO treasurer. But I know as of June, it was $5,600. And I know we've gotten at least $1,000 since then.
And
So
what,
we're at
what,
close to about $7,000, maybe more, in underwriting revenue for the station.
and so that's not included in this summary, the spreadsheet that we're looking at right here?
It's not, because it's not a fixed cost. Like I mean, it could change every year, and it's not something that Mark puts in because he doesn't have the money. The city doesn't have the money right now. The mutual operating memorandum of understanding is that they would cut a check at the end of the year, each year, for the amount of underwriting and sponsorship.
Well,
So, oh, go ahead, Bill.
yeah, well, so on that point, if the revenue from underwriting isn't in the budget, then when the city does receive that revenue, how is it allocated? Where is it spent?
It doesn't get spent. It goes into this line item right here, fund balance. And it just stays in there. And therefore, if we went over budget or needed to use the money, we could use the fund balance, of course.
And what happens to it otherwise?
It stays in the fund balance. If we don't use it, it just stays there. And the goal of the city is to keep, I believe, and maybe you know better, Teresa, 20 to 15% of your operating budget in your fund balance.
Right. Something like that. I don't know exactly.
It's somewhere around that percentage. It's the same as the school district too. It's right around, I think they both are pretty close in what they keep in their fund balance.
But I think, Bill, are you asking more of a formal procedure for the
Yeah, let's save this for a
allocation?
future discussion about underwriting because we've talked about having that as a future meeting topic. I would like to learn more about how all this works, but not for purposes of this budget decision.
Okay. All right. But for the purposes of the budget decision, as you say, Bill, most important thing to know is that the underwriting is not included. The revenue from underwriting is not included here. For this year, it was not included last year or any year before. So we cannot include it in 2026. Okay.
Well,
Understood.
and last year was the first year we actually had
Correct.
money.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that was, I believe we got like 5,000.
Yeah. Okay. But as far as anything else, do people have any questions? If not, I'll take a motion to accept the operating budget as presented here in your packet tonight. Or I'll entertain more questions.
I'll move approval of accepting the operational budget as presented.
Perfect. That's from Katie. And is there a second?
Second.
Second from Susan. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Fantastic. All right, moving on to the agenda then. We'll get on to number 5. I don't believe there is any new business, so we're going to go on to number 6, department reports, WVMO news and updates. What do you got for us, Will?
Not a whole lot. For those of you who went to the 10th anniversary at San Damiano, it was packed and it was the largest crowd they have ever seen. I think they estimated like 1,500 people, perhaps, maybe. They ran out of beverages twice, from what I hear. So it was a great partnership. It worked out great. We have a couple program hosts who have retired and moved on, and we got a few more that are Joe, our station director, is meeting with from those who have proposed some new shows from the public that he is meeting with and talking to them about and seeing if it's something that matches with our goals and missions.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna go wrong when you have Wheelhouse as your band. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I was out of town, unfortunately. I didn't get there, but I heard it was a huge success. 6A, community media updates, Will?
I mean, I think the big one there is schools in session. So, multimedia content producer Brennan Hekimovich is busy. He's really taking over the charge at the high school as the AV club advisor, and they're knee deep over there. Football this Friday, football a couple weeks ago. Just had our first club meeting today. We have about 6 leaders, and yeah, so they're no, they're busy. He's busy. There's administrative needs of videos for sportsmanship. Um, I think the school counselors and the administration likes to do videos for the announcements to kind of get some information out. So I think the good part is that I think that's growing, and especially under Mitch, I think he really kind of got that going because he wasn't afraid to be on camera, which then got other people to say, yeah, not a bad idea, let's do it. So now you have a lot of you have the AD and you have the dean of students and the principal who like to do videos from, you know, monthly almost. And so it's just a great partnership.
Mm, it is. So much energy at the school. I just love it. All right. Then I'm going to move on then to an adjournment. But before I do, I always like to sort of take a few notes 1 month for the things that we want to talk about the next month so that we don't miss anything when we're putting together the agenda. And tonight, I mentioned that, you know, maybe we want to start thinking about how we're going to let the community know about the you know, Monona Go and how we're not going to be renewing that. What's the messaging? How do we say it? Bill asked to learn more about how underwriting works. And then, Bill, I think you also maybe had other matters that you and I have talked about, and I don't know if you want to take those conversations out of the committee meeting or should we have them in the committee meeting? And that was just about things that came up before, like the handbook or programming, governance, things like that. What do you feel is best for talking about those?
Just the first item that you mentioned about the handbook.
Okay.
Bill and Joe and I have had a conversation following up on our last meeting.
Sure.
And we are going to collectively kind of go through any areas of the handbook that there's a consensus that need to be updated or clarified. And so once I clear some things off of my plate, I'm going to be spending some more time on that, and the three of us are going to kind of put our heads together and see what would be helpful there. That's really of all those things you mentioned, I'd say that was the front burner or the one that I was most hopeful that we could spend a little time on. So
Okay.
we can report back to this committee after the
Sure.
three at that level go through it, and I can't say for sure when that's going to be yet. Will,
Okay.
does that summarize, do you think, what we
I think so. Yeah,
discussed?
I mean, I think that was the goal is kind of three of us get together and talk about it and look it over so that we can just figure out where we are, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I thought the 10-year anniversary would be a nice benchmark just to kind of take a look and assess and make sure that everybody's rowing in the same direction.
All right. Okay. That's it. So just, Bill, just so I'm clear, things like programming, governance, ratings, we can talk about that some other time. I don't want to
Or not.
dismiss any concerns or not. I just don't want to dismiss any concerns that you've raised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful. In that case, let's go ahead and I will take a motion to adjourn.
I can do
So
that.
moved.
All right. Bill got to it first, then Katie. I think it was Katie. And all in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Of course not. We got out in under an hour. That's wonderful. All right. Thanks, everybody.